Hi guys, week 2 of Fencing Club on YouTube. Today's video is going to be on point control and parries. So when you're doing your parries, you want to make sure that you're only parrying as far as you need to. So as I parry, I'm going to go to the edge of my body, but not all the way out here because that's just a waste of energy. It will take you longer to recover, and by that point your opponent has a better chance to hit you. So we're going to go over some parry drills, and then if you see in the back here, I've set up an exercise that you guys can copy and use to work on your point control. When you parry, if you remember, the blade has two parts. The foible, which is the bendy part from about the tip to halfway down the blade, and then the fort, which is the part that you want to parry with. So the fort is from that midpoint to the bell guard. As you parry, you want to be in your on-guard stance so that your knees don't get weak over this quarantine area. You want to keep all your muscles in shape. Do some squats or something. Always practice your footwork. So do all of your parries and drills in your on-guard stance. From my on-guard stance, I'm going to do the 4-7-6-8 drill. So, holding my foil, my tip is about eye level with my opponent. Parry 4, come back. 6, oh boy, 4-7-6-8. 4, 7, that protects your stomach. 6 defends your shoulder. 8 defends your flank. So, do a few rounds of that. Just make sure you're doing the parries properly. Really come and use all of that wrist movement, and make sure to focus on where you're actually moving this bell guard. Really think about capturing the other opponent's foil in the fort area. So 4, 7, 6, 8. And remember, when I do my 7 and my 8, I come from my on-guard, I lower my foil so the top of my thumb is facing you guys, and then I move it inwards towards my body in sort of a J shape, and I'm really hoping to push the opponent's foil out of the way. So on guard, drop it so that my thumb is on top, and move it to either side. My tip in this case faces down towards the floor a little bit, so when you recover from a 7, you sweep upwards and you're right back in that on-guard stance. Your 4, you just slide it back over, same with your 6. Once you start working on your muscle memory with these parries, your 4, 7, 6, 8, start doing riposte. So parry 4, extend or thrust. Parry 7, thrust. 8, and that's your riposte action. So hypothetically, if someone is lunging at you, they are close enough to hit you, but you are also close enough to hit them. So as you parry, they're pretty close. If you riposte and extend your arm in a thrust, my feet are stationary. 7, riposte, I should be able to hit them and get the touch. At least that's what we want to work towards. They'll probably parry you, and then you can go into another phrase. But that's why we work on this, so you can react. Because if they're caught off guard and you riposte really quickly, you get the touch. So I'm in my on-guard stance, 4, riposting, 7, riposte, 6, riposte, 8, riposte. You can also work on your circle parries. So remember, circle parries, you go into the parry, let's just say parry 4, I'm protecting my chest area, and then I continue moving, but almost like I've been caught in a circle trajectory. So I keep moving in the direction that my parry 4 is going in a counterclockwise circle. It's all in the wrist, and you really want to make sure that you're putting the majority of the pressure in your hand to hold the foil in your thumb and your pointer finger, and that's what's going to give you that good wrist control. So parry 4, circle parry. and then you can repost off of that even. So 4, circle 4, repost. Just to do it from the side in case you guys can't see it from that angle. This way probably. Yep, okay, so on guard stance, doing my parry 4, moving my wrist, only my wrist, everything else is still. 4, and then I just keep going in that direction. So you're going counterclockwise for the circle 4. With your other parries, just think about going in that same direction. So my circle 7, I do my parry 7, and right now I'm coming in, if you think about it, it's a clockwise direction. So parry 7, circle 7, you just make that circle with your wrist. Normally you want the circles to be as tight as you can, just to maximize time and energy. But with the 7 and the 8s, because of the area of where you're parrying and just human anatomy, they're going to get a little bigger. So 7, circle 7, I just continue along that same trajectory. 6 and circle 6, I move it out and then just continue in that same direction. So that's a clockwise circle for the circle 6 parry. And then parry 8, I drop it down to protect my flank, right in here, and then I just continue. So this is where it's important that your thumb is on top of your hand. When you do your 7s and 8s, you need to make sure that you start from your on guard, drop your hand, so that your thumb is on top facing you guys. You see that? So a lot of you like to turn your hand over, but if you're there, I can't do my circle very well because my pommel is going to get stuck in my wrist. So from my on guard, drop my tip, move it into a 7, don't hit the table, 7, circle 7, that's a clockwise direction, 6 is also clockwise, and then 8, we're moving it down this way, my thumb is on top, my knees are bent because I'm in an on guard stance, and I just continue here. If you remember, we learned parry 2s and parry 1s. A more efficient version of the circle 8 would be a parry 2 and a circle 2. Not that parry 8 isn't efficient, but if you have someone who's constantly aiming for your flank, a parry 2 can be a little easier to maneuver into a circle than an 8 circle. So parry 2s, from our on guard, you take your hand and you turn it over, sort of in a C motion. So when you're in your on guard regularly, if you think about a clock on the inside of your bell guard, your thumb is pointed maybe at 1 o'clock. So I take my thumb from 1 o'clock to about 7 or 6. So I take my wrist and I turn it over, so now my knuckles are on top facing you guys, and that's a parry 2, which you can understand why a parry 2 might be easier to go into a circle from. Now parry 1, I know a lot of you guys were starting to get a hang of this and even working it into your bouts, but there's also some difficulty with it because it is an awkward parry. So parry 1, you start it like a parry 2, where you're turning your hand over, but you want to think about bringing that pommel up under your wrist. So I'm starting to bend my elbow out this way, and I'm going to think about bringing my arm up over right in between my nose and my chin. So my palm is facing outwards towards you guys. This is the inside of my forearm here. So start like a parry 2, but this is parry 1. So we bring it up, I'm bending my elbow, and I'm pulling it up perpendicular to my forearm. And this is like, it's also perpendicular to the floor. So do it again slowly for you guys. Bringing my hand up and over, turning my palm outwards towards you, and bringing it over just enough to cover my body. From this angle, I'm in my on guard. My knees are bent so I can't see my toes. Dropping that point into a parry 2. So turning my wrist over, dropping that point up and over, a little lower. So perpendicular to the floor. Now for point control, I've taken a couch cushion to protect this lovely wood paneling and some masking tape, if you can see, and I've propped it up on a table. So the masking tape is something to aim for, and the table just puts at whatever height you're comfortable with. And just like we did that activity with the post-it notes against the brick wall, here we go. So you can aim for these, you can fence them, work on your point control, work on your circle, disengages in between them. Really try to challenge yourself, keep it up. Hopefully we do a tournament in the fall. So you can use that for the meantime. Once it gets warmer, feel free to go outside and fence the side of your house maybe. Find a sibling, have fun with it. If you guys have a video that you want us to make next, leave it in the comments or text it in the group chat. We are also on Snapchat now. So thank you all for watching.